This module is related to the financial globalization and the growth nexus. Actually, here we try to understand how growth is going to increase or expand due to the financial globalization or financial integration. Mean to say, once the economies are going to have more connection in terms of their financial businesses, in terms of their financial transactions, they are capable to expand their productive capacities, and they can build up more output and more sources, and then they can generate more income. So that is helping them to grow quickly and expediently. Here, some important things need to be understood. First one is related to the well functioning of the domestic financial market. And that is only possible if institutional base has been properly established, and it should be adequate for the given resources. Whatsoever financial investments are coming into the developing economies, they need to absorb that particular capital, and they must have some institutional basis which help them to absorb that capital. Because just like if you are going to grow some vegetable or vegetations, if land is not properly cultivated, it is not prepared for cultivation process, then it's not going to generate good returns. Secondly, endogenous allocative efficiency of capital is essential. Mean to say, whenever capital is going to move inside the domestic economy or developing economy, they have their own endogenous needs. They need to develop some areas and some specific sectors, just like the education sector is the most important, the health sector is important, agriculture sector is important. So this capital should move accordingly. Which sector is more important, and which is actually the base sector through which that economy is going to grow more quickly and rapidly. So actually this capital should move in that particular sector. It should not happen that the investors who are coming, they are just going to exploit the opportunity of generating more returns, and then the country which is the recipient country, it's not going to get any benefit. Third important thing is the improvement of total factor productivity. Here you know that the private and social returns are going to be generated whenever any kind of investment is going to happen. So total factor productivity actually reflects that on the one side, the total factors are going to expand, total labor is going to expand, the total capital is going to expand, as well as their productivity is going to enhance. So both are going to generate more returns. So on the one side, the capital should come to grow the productive capacity in terms of increasing the stock of labor and stock of capital, as well as it should allow enhancement of these factors. Just like for labor, the skill development, for capital, it should be more productive, more technology oriented. So in this way, the total factor productivity is allowing to generate more social returns along with the private returns. Secondly, high confidence in terms of global investors should be available in the domestic economy, because whenever they are going to put their finances into a particular developing economy, then it leads towards growth. But ultimately, growth should generate more finances, so that finances can be further utilized to integrate the whole world. So this means on the one side, financial globalization leads towards growth, and then financial globalization leads towards growth, and then growth leads towards further financial globalization. So it means it has a two-way action. Third important thing is related to the historical cases. Historically, what we have observed related to these few economies, Netherlands is one economy, Britain is second, and US is another, where sound financial systems have already been evolved. In case of Netherlands, 17th century it has done, in Britain 18th to 19th century, and in US it's in the 18th century. They have already developed an adequate institutional base, and they became financially innovative. So these are the major components which help them to grow quickly and rapidly. So these economies are getting more benefit of these capitals which were moving across economies in the very beginning of the history. Secondly, if we observe the developing countries which needs more foreign direct investment and more foreign portfolio investment, they must do what? Boost up growth expansion. Mean to say, whenever they are going to receive that particular capital, that must help them to grow quickly and more. Further, growth in trade is essential, mean that investment should be used to enhance the productive capacity in terms of generating more surplus that can be sold to the rest of the world to generate more income and resources. New financial innovators have been evolved as well, which came later, where the development of financial system allowed them to become capital exporter. France is one, Germany and Japan. So these three countries came later after Netherlands, Britain and US, but they became capital exporter due to the because they have done all those requirements which must be fulfilled to ensure financial globalization. Here some research shows related to the financial development and growth nexus. This article, you can access this article through this website, and this shows the causation, that how related to different countries, what are the causes for GDP growth. The foreign direct investment shows here the two-way relationship in case of these countries and only one-way relationship in case of these countries, and Pakistan is one of that. The GDP is going to grow more, so unidirectional relationship. And then they find out for these countries the GDP growth leads towards more financial development. So financial development on the one side leads towards more domestic development for Bangladesh, Indonesia, Mauritius and Philippines, and for just like Jordan, Malaysia, Pakistan and Syria, financial development leads towards only domestic growth. So here one direction is missing, so it is a quite early stage of the financial globalization and its outcome. Secondly, if we observe the financial development with respect to the FDI, then financial development leads to increase FDI and FDI leads to increase financial development for these countries, and interestingly Pakistan is included here. It means at least financial development is leading towards more foreign direct investment, and foreign direct investment leads further financial development. And then unidirectional exists for these countries, and again unidirectional, the foreign direct investment leads toward financial development for these countries. So India is here, it is leading towards financial development, FDI. Secondly, if we observe the openness, that how financial development leads toward more openness, then these are the countries where openness leads towards financial development and financial development leads towards openness. And Pakistan, here you will observe financial development leads towards openness, but openness is not going to lead towards more financial development. In case of Bangladesh, Egypt, Indonesia, here openness leads towards financial development, and no causation is found with respect to Syria. So these countries are showing that how financial development and growth have their connection with each other. This graph just shows that how much proportion of different kind of financial resources are moving across countries, and over the time how it grows. If you can observe that these yellow bars, they are going to a bit more over the time, they grows up. This means portfolio investment increased over the time, as well as FDI. If you observe the FDI also grows up. The share of FDI also shows that rise. This area shows the FDI. And debt, if you observe the debt grows up consistently, but close to 2010 it stays, it's not going to grow much more. So over the time what is happening, proportion of foreign direct investment and portfolio investment is growing much more. This is the near about half, 50%, and the debt is only the 50% of remaining resources. So official development assistance is going to decrease, and mostly it is going to replace by the foreign direct and foreign portfolio investment.